As tensions rise between the U.S. and Venezuela, the Pentagon is steadily amassing combat power in the Caribbean, signaling the potential for a much larger and longer-lasting campaign.
We'll see what happens with Venezuela. Venezuela's been very dangerous.
Hi guys, welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Prince Ichie. Breaking news: an explosive revelation from Washington. The US President Donald Trump has secretly authorized the CIA to conduct lethal operations inside Venezuela. And tonight, the world is asking one question: is America preparing for a regime change? Stay tuned, we are diving deep into the shocking directive that could change the balance of power in Latin America.
Make no mistake about it.
And posted on social media.
What you're doing right now, it's not training. This is the real world exercise.
But much of it has unfolded more discreetly so far, and what it could mean for Venezuela. In late August, the U.S. ordered 3 warships into the Caribbean. And as the Trump administration began its controversial strikes on alleged Venezuelan drug boats in early September, a Marine Expeditionary Unit, or MEU, deployed to the Caribbean and began exercises. A MEU consists of about 2,200 Marines and sailors who operate from ships with air and ground attack capabilities. They're trained to launch missions in a matter of hours. In the weeks that followed, C-17 cargo planes and F-35 fighter jets began arriving at the once-shuttered naval station Roosevelt Roads, signaling the activation of the old U.S. military base in Puerto Rico. Also in Puerto Rico, a P-8 Poseidon spy plane and MQ-9 Reaper drones were identified in various locations. Reapers are extended-range drones that can stay in the air for more than 24 hours and carry multiple weapons. Open-source researchers have also posted about another significant development: the possible presence of a secretive U.S. Special Operations ship. The U.S. has bases in Guantanamo Bay, Cuba, and in Puerto Rico, and nearby are the U.S. Virgin Islands. There have been dozens of C-17 flights to St. Croix in recent weeks. The U.S. also has friendly relations with Barbados, Grenada, and Trinidad and Tobago, and could lean on them for help. In Trinidad and Tobago, the Pentagon has a status of forces agreement, which means it could potentially stage forces and assets in the country. The Pentagon didn't respond to a request for comment, but the Trump administration, which accuses Maduro of leading a drug cartel, has hinted at escalation.
So we hit a number of boats, you probably saw that, and now we'll look at cartels. We're going to look very seriously at cartels coming by land.
Nicolas Maduro is an indicted drug trafficker.
I announced $50 million reward for his capture.
Maduro has denied these charges and has responded to the buildup by staging military drills and calling on Venezuelans to take up arms.
In a stunning confirmation, Donald Trump has admitted to greenlighting covert CIA missions targeting Venezuela. According to the sources, this move wasn't just surveillance. It included lethal authority, the power to eliminate high-value targets if deemed necessary. While Donald Trump defended the decision as a necessary for national security, critics warned this could reignite Cold War-style tension across the region. The New York Times revealed the existence of a classified presidential findings granting the CIA full clearance for operating across Venezuela and even parts of the Caribbean. This means the agency can act independently, operate undercover, dip and carry out missions without public disclosure. Analysts are calling it one of the most aggressive authorizations ever issued in the Western Hemisphere. Behind the scenes, many believe the real objective is simple: topple Nicolas Maduro. For years, the US has labeled the Venezuelan leader as a dictator, responsible for crushing democracy and collapsing the nation's economy. Now, with the CIA hand tied, that mission may be going operationally. Officials familiar with the directive say the CIA could act alone or alongside US military units already active in the region.
September 2nd, 2025, the US bombs a suspected Venezuelan drug boat in the Caribbean Sea. 11 are killed. In the weeks that follow, the US launches more deadly strikes on vessels allegedly carrying illegal narcotics. President Donald Trump claims those on board were members of a Venezuelan gang, the Tren de Aragua, and operating under the control of the Venezuelan president, Nicolas Maduro. Maduro denies the allegations and condemns the buildup of US forces as aggression. Venezuela responds with large-scale military exercises, deploying thousands of troops. It also starts the mass training of armed civilians.
Never in the past there was a more real threat that this could escalate.
Nicolas Maduro became president of Venezuela after the death of Hugo Chavez in 2013. Maduro's presidency has been defined by allegations of corruption, assassination attempts, and economic devastation. Despite holding the world's largest oil reserves, the country's economic collapse and political instability has caused about a third of its population to leave over the past decade. The crisis deepened after the presidential election in July 2024. After banning the main opposition leader Maria Corina Machado from running, the regime declared Maduro the winner.
Soy Nicolás Maduro Moro, presidente reelecto de la República Bolivariana de Venezuela.
This was in defiance of opposition data showing their new presidential candidate Edmundo Gonzalez had won by a landslide. Protests erupted across the country. Dozens of protesters were killed and thousands were arrested. World leaders, including the US, condemned the result and recognized Gonzalez as the winner.
The international community is watching this very closely and will respond accordingly.
But over a year later, Maduro remains in power.
Billions of dollars of drugs are pouring into our country from Venezuela. The prisons of Venezuela have been opened up to our country. They've taken their prisoners, the worst prisoners, murderers, Tren de Aragua, the worst prisoners that you can ever imagine are now happily living in the United States of America.
During his first term from 2017 until 2021, Trump started labeling Maduro's government as a narco-terrorist regime. In January 2025, soon after Trump's second-term inauguration, the US government increased the bounty for Maduro's arrest to $25 million. Half a year later, this was raised to a record $50 million, surpassing the rewards once offered for figures such as Osama bin Laden and Saddam Hussein.
Cualquier momento me ponen a valer más que Messi y sería una injusticia.
The US claims Maduro is the leader of the Cartel de los Soles and is accusing him of supporting the Tren de Aragua gang.
Just days before the revelation, US forces struck several vessels of Venezuelan coast, allegedly tied to drug trafficking network. 27 people were killed. Now many are asking, were these the first shot of a larger covert campaign. The move has sparked fierce debates in Washington. Lawmakers, even within Trump's own party, are demanding answers. How can a later CIA operation be justified without congressional approval? And does this violate international law? Experts warns if unmonitored, this could set a precedent for unchecked executive power in U.S. foreign policy. When pressed by reporters, Trump dodged a critical question: is Nicolas Maduro himself a target? His answer: that's a ridiculous question, but his silence spoke volumes.
Does the CIA have authority to take out Maduro?
Oh, I don't want to answer a question like that. That's a ridiculous question for me to be given. Not really a ridiculous question, but wouldn't it be a ridiculous question for me to answer? But I think Venezuela is feeling heat.
Meanwhile, U.S. warships, submarine and air assets have quietly marched across the Caribbean. Officials describe it as a security deterrent, but others see it as a preparation for something far bigger. In Caracas, the Maduro government is furious, calling the CIA directive as an act of aggression and a clear attempt at regime change. State TV aired fiery speeches accusing Washington of plotting another coup d'etat. No one knows if CIA missions have already begun, but intelligence insiders say the order might serve as a contingency plan waiting for the perfect political moment. This is a developing story that could redefine US-Latin American relations. Covert warfare, regime change, and political power policies. All this one explosive means what happens next may not stay secret for long. Stay tuned for verified updates and in-depth analysis right here on Life World Focus 24/7. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more breaking world reports.